Hey, my nonprofit visionaries. This is Shalita, the nonprofit Easter O'Neill. Today, I want to talk to you about managing the work in yourself. What does that mean? Okay, as nonprofit visionaries, and even not even just as nonprofit visionaries, but if you're running a company, if you have some sort of project, whether you're at a company and you have a project, sometimes the things that we are responsible for, the tasks that we are responsible for delivering on can be overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but I know that there's been so many times over the years that I felt I need to get something done, but I may not have the support necessarily that I would need to get things done, right? And there's a lot that needs to get done, not a lot of time to get it done in. There's deadlines, there's this, that, right? And I felt like, okay, well, I need some help. How am I going to get this stuff done? The truth of the matter is that there have always been people around me who want to help and who are willing, capable, ready to help. But as a leader, a nonprofit visionary and founder, sometimes we're really overprotective over our stuff. We're really overprotective over the projects that we're working on, our programming, our organization. We're really particular. And sometimes we get in the space where, all right, I don't have time to explain this to you, or by the time I explain what I need done to you, I could have done it myself, or maybe it's not getting done the way that I would do it. So I, don't want that. I'm just going to do it myself. I just want to tell you to breathe, stop, and trust. You are going to have to trust the people that you have brought around you to help you with your vision. At some point, you're going to need to trust them and their skills and expertise. And I just have a couple of tips for you that help me. And over the years, hindsight is 2020. Now, in all that I do, I have such an amazing team of people around me. And I always had an amazing team of people around me, but I have changed and evolved to the point where I could recognize it. I know how to tap into it, harness it, and nurture it so that I can step back and not be so stressed out and focus on what I really need to focus on with my business and with my nonprofit organization. So I'm going to share a couple of things that I hope you will find helpful. Delegation reigns supreme. You're going to need to learn how to delegate. Get comfortable with it. Be one with the delegation. Because if not, you're going to burn out. You're going to get frustrated. And nobody needs that. We don't want that. Okay? First, assemble a team if you don't already have a team. I know a lot of times, whether you're nonprofit, for-profit, as a visionary, when you are starting something, you're starting solo, alone. It's your responsibility to engage other people around what you're doing, get them excited about what you're doing, and to make sure that their skills and expertise matches that of what you're going to need in order to have or complete a successful project or grow your nonprofit or for-profit organization. So assemble your team and vet folks. It's not first come, first serve. I say this with your board members. I say this about your volunteers. Your staff, when you're hiring people, it's not just, okay, well, this person, okay, it seems like they got everything, okay, I just need to fill the spot. Don't do that because you will notice that things will come up later, about this person that may not have been such a good fit for you. So you have to slow down and vet people. Take the time, be patient. I know we all we need to go, but be patient and trust the process as well of vetting people. And once you vet folks and you get the right group around you, and you don't need 20,000 people. You don't need 20, 30 people. Unless you got, the demand for your project, your product, your program requires that, and you have the resources to do that. If that's not the case, 5 to 7 strong people, ambassadors, volunteers, staff members, team members, 5 to 7 strong people who have the expertise, the talents, the skills, the time, and the dedication is plenty, right? So first, assemble your team. The second thing is trust the team, especially if you go through the vetting process and they've made it through that and it's a good fit and they fit in with the culture of your organization or with the culture, of the project that you are putting into place. Trust them. And don't you get frustrated if somebody were to, I mean, we all have experienced this at one point in our life where maybe we've been hired for something, and then for our skills and expertise, and people are all proud and, oh, well, Shalita O'Neill has got a bachelor in this and this and that, and she's done this work. And then when it comes time for you to give ideas about how you think a project should move forward, then there's pushback. Then there's, not sure about that, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you should try it this way. Maybe you should do it. Like, well, wait a minute. Didn't you hire me because of these skills, talents, expertise that I have? And now you're telling me I can't even use them to help you. And you asked me to use them to help you. And now you don't. That's frustrating. It's confusing. You've been through it. I've been through it. Don't do it to other people. You vet your team. You assemble your team. Now trust them. Of course, you communicate what the goal is, the overall goal of what you're doing, but how you get there. You need to be able to trust the people that you bring around you to help you get there. It may not look the way that you want it to look, or people may not go about it the way that you would go about it, but that's the purpose of assembling a team, is that you want other people's perspectives. You want fresh and new ideas at the table and people who are going to help you get there, because if you could do it all by yourself, you would have. You can't do it all by yourself. So trust that team. Next, make sure each individual knows what the next is responsible for. It's important for you to cultivate a space where your team can connect with each other without having to get not permission from you, because they shouldn't have. They already, you've assembled this team, so you've already expressed your permission around them communicating with each other. But they should feel like, okay, I know what my teammate does. I know what my role is. I know what their role is. So when they need support with something, they don't have to come to you every 5 seconds asking you for direction. They know, okay, I need this piece of marketing to be designed. I need to, okay, well, let me go to the graphic designer who's on the team and let me, have this drafted up. Of course, the final say-so, the final approval goes through you, but as they're working to get the job done, they need to be able to trust each other, know what each other does, independent of you. All right? That's that. Also, what I would say is don't rush to provide an answer to something that can be answered by a team member. So as you're assembling your team and people are getting used to each other and they're developing their relationships with each other and they know what each other does, in the beginning, people are still going to come to you and ask you certain questions until they get comfortable with knowing who to go to. But I challenge you, don't answer the question right away. You have the answers, right? You have all the answers. You're the lead. You're the visionary. But the goal is to get them to start thinking for themselves before they come to you. So if someone comes to you and says, oh, well, I need help with this, designing this graphic for this promotional material that we're sending out about our project, and they already know that there's a person on your team that does the graphic design, is responsible for that. Instead of you saying, oh, well, let me reach out to this so-and-so person to get you connected to help, let me put something together. Stop yourself, because you're going to have the urge to want to do that, to go ahead and provide an answer or a solution. Stop that and say, well, you know what? Sarah is the person that is responsible for that. Remember? So reach out to Sarah and Sarah will be able to help you with that. And then let her reach out to Sarah. It's easy, right? It don't feel easy sometimes, but once you get used to it, you'll be like, okay, I'm noticing that I have more time to do the things that I need to do. I'm noticing that I'm not as stressed out. I'm noticing that things are getting done and I don't need to be the center of attention or the one that's always making stuff happen, right? So resist the urge to want to give a solution or give an answer and redirect them to the person on the team that's responsible for that, right? Okay, so that is pretty much overall when we're talking about how do you get to a point where you get your team comfortable with each other, or you can start delegating. Because if you don't have anybody to delegate to, then, delegation reigns supreme, doesn't mean anything to you. You actually have to have a team to delegate to. So assemble that team. We're going to go over that. Assemble that team. Trust the team and their expertise once you do so. Make sure each individual knows exactly what the next one is responsible for. They should know what their team members individually are responsible for. And then as a team, how all those pieces fit together. So that means you have to take the time to orient them together individually. You got to take time for that. But then once that's done, don't rush to provide an answer when somebody reaches out to you, because it's easier for them to just come to the source as opposed to going to the person that's responsible for the task. You redirect and say, no, Sarah's the one you want to talk to about that graphic design project. And then ultimately Sarah will be the one to get things approved through you, right? Okay, so that's just about the team overall. Now, tasks. You cannot ask people to do things or expect them to deliver if you're not clear about what you want them to do. Now, it's not necessarily how you want them to do it, right? Because we just talked about that everybody has a different way of doing things. And when you allow creativity to flow, that's where you make the most progress. Now, you have the vision of what needs to be done and the expectations around what needs to be done, but how you get there. Now, you do what you want, right? If you want to be a control freak and want to have control over everything and tell people how they're supposed to do things, then get ready for pushback and get ready for the stress that comes along with trying to control how other people do things. That's not your role. Okay? That's not your role. You have to trust your team. But you have to be clear about what needs to be done. And you have to set some sort of accountability in place as well. So you assign the people that are responsible for different pieces of what needs to be done. And you can't do that unless you're very clear about the task. All right, we're going to plan a fundraising event, a car wash. All right, that's what we need to do. All right, well, look at the different elements of that. There needs to be someone who's in charge of logistics. Okay, where is this going to happen? Who are you going to partner with in order to have this event at which car wash, right? All right, well, who's going to be in charge of designing the promotional materials for that car wash and overseeing social media? Okay, well, who's going to be the one that's responsible for making sure that people know about this event and that they're registering, that they're coming to it, and that there's questions that can be answered? Who's going to do that? You understand what I'm saying? So once you have a task, you have to be very clear about your task and what needs to be done. Then you have to look at, all right, well, what are the different pieces of this task and who needs to be in charge of each of these pieces? And what are the deadlines? Set deadlines. You'd be surprised when people, just get this done for me. Maybe in a week or two, whatever works. No, deadlines. I need this by Friday, December 1st at 5 p.m. at close of business. Be very clear about your deadlines, because then that also introduces a level of accountability for the person or the people that are doing the task, and they know in their mind what they need to get done and by when. So don't be up in the air about when you need stuff done. You need to be very specific about the deadlines for when the tasks need to be completed. Now, you also need to check in periodically. So I'm not saying assign tasks and just say, okay, I've done my part. Y'all figure it out. Don't do that. Because along the way, your team's going to need your help, right? You're going to need to check in and maybe, somebody on the team has asked another individual on the team for something and has not gotten what they needed. And if you're not checking in periodically to monitor this and then knowing when you need to step in to be of support, it could go it could go bad very quickly, or things could not get done. And then, people get frustrated. Once your team gets frustrated with each other, then work does not get done. We don't want none of that. All right. So make sure, yes, you have the task that's very clear, that's very specific. Yes, you have assigned people that are accountable over different pieces of the task. Yes, you have set up deadlines, established deadlines for when things need to get done. And yes, you check in periodically with your team leads or with the chairs of those committees, let's say, right? The committees that you set up for this event. Yes, you check in with them periodically to make sure that they have what they need, that they're on track for the deadlines. And if if you need to step in with something, you'll know periodically. Okay? So How are we feeling? It could seem like a lot, and I know it's also a lot more detailed than this because, now you have to, what are some of the tips and tools that you can use to make sure that your team is on task, to make sure that you're on task, to make sure that you are able to step away, right? And not be so stressed out about feeling like you have to do everything yourself, but knowing that things are still getting done. So that's why I decided to have a webinar on this, on managing the work and yourself. And it's going to be Monday, September 30th at 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's free, right? So if you're feeling like you need some tools, maybe to renew your toolkit of how you get things done with your projects, regardless of what it is that you run, or whether you're running a organization, nonprofit, for-profit, whether you are running a project or a program, whatever or even if it's your own life, okay? I'm a huge proponent of how you do one thing is how you do everything. So the same tips and tools and the toolkit that you use at work or with your organization on organization and delegation and making sure that things get done, we can still apply this in our personal lives, at home. What needs to get done? These are some goals that I have personally that I want to get done, but you still need a team of people around you that are going to help support you and what it is that you need to get done. So join me Monday, September 30th, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on a free webinar on managing the work and yourself. And we'll go a little bit, like I said, more into detail about some of the things that I just discussed earlier today. Give you some tips, some tools, some worksheets, some things that can help organize you so that your team, right, whoever that may be, so that your team works efficiently, so that you're able to meet the goals of your project or your organization without you getting stressed out and shutting down and nothing getting done. Because when we get tired, when we get done, okay, then nothing gets done. So we don't want to do that. So I hope you join me. The link is below, so don't even worry about that. Follow the link to register. Also, I'm here as your nonprofit coach. If you want some one-on-one support, let me know. We can come together. We can do that. That's ShalitaO'Neal.com. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Reach out to me and we'll talk about how I can work with you to help you one-on-one to move the work of your organization forward. Okay? So thanks for watching. And until next time, y'all know what I say. Be blessed.